Hey there guys, in today's video I am going to be covering the basic husbandry of a goat. So if you guys have a goat at home, if you're thinking about getting a goat, in today's video we're going to be covering all the things you need to do to take care of a goat, with particular emphasis on what needs to be done on a daily, monthly, and annual routine. So if that's information you guys want, you want to stick around because that's going to be coming up right after this. Hey there guys, this is Jack over at Hi Red Bird, where I am tirelessly working to find new ways to make the keeping of exotic animals and pets more exciting, more affordable, and ultimately more enjoyable. And in today's video, as you guys may have noticed, I have a baby goat. This is actually a 4-month-old baby goat, so this little guy is weaned. As you can see, he is very, very excited to be eating some pellets right now. Now I did bottle raise this goat, so as you can see he is very, very calm, very used to having me around him, petting him, and that's going to be something that is immeasurably helpful in taking care of your baby goat. But in today's video I wanted to go ahead and cover the things that you need to do to take care of a goat, but this is not going to be a from the very start video. So if you have a goat that is being bottle fed, I'm not going to cover that. I am going to cover from weaning on. So for a goat that is actively eating solid food, this video should help you guys out. So the easiest thing to do is go ahead and start with what you guys want to do on a daily basis if you guys have a goat. And the very first thing you want to do is this right here. You're going to want to feed your goat. Now, the bulk of his hay is going to be, or the bulk of his diet is going to be hay. Gave that away. But for goats, one of the really cool things about them is that they are specialized brush eaters. That means that if you have a lot of land with shrubs and other things growing in like that, they can get most of their nutrition from that, provided it is things that they are able to eat. But I like to feed out hay because I like to utilize what is called a dry lot approach to maintaining goats. That means that they are going to be on bare dirt, sand, and rock. There is no grass or other foliage growing in their enclosure. Now, the benefit I get from that is I can keep that very, very clean. I can clean their enclosure every single day. That's going to be the next thing that you're going to want to do, if it is at all possible, is to clean their enclosure every single day. Now, most of the goats that you're going to see that are available to interact with, they are going to be dairy varieties of goat. This little guy right here is actually 1/8 Nubian goat and 7/8 dwarf Nigerian goat. So both of those are going to be dairy varieties. Now, dairy varieties have been bred over generations to be very calm, to be very used to interacting with people, because obviously if you are a dairy variety of animal, you probably need to be okay with people messing around with you if they're going to be coming to collect milk from you every day, which wouldn't really happen with this one since he is a male and that's not how that works. But you have to be really calm, but dairy varieties, which are very, very used to people, don't put on as much meat as meat varieties of goat do. So what that means is they're not going to have that much of an energy reserve built into their muscle tone. So they're going to be a lot more susceptible to things like parasites. So if you clean that yard every single day, using a dry lot approach, you help to minimize the amount of parasites that are going to be found in your goat. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now that if your goat has any kind of remote access to outside, he is going to have some kind of parasites. That's simply the nature of the game. Your job is to manage those parasites and make sure that they do not pose a health risk to your animal. So you feed him every day. You can use either hay or brush. You want to make sure you're feeding out some kind of pelleted diet as well. Now, they don't need that much of it, but you want to make sure they're getting a little bit just to supplement any of their nutritional needs. You want to clean their yard every single day. You want to make sure that these guys get fresh food, fresh water every single day. And you're going to want to make sure that you check their salt supplementation every single day. Goats here, like most hoof stock, they're going to need some kind of salt supplementation as a part of their diet. So you can provide that by going to most feed stores. They're going to have readily made mixes for whatever hoofed animals you're looking at. So there are specially made salt mixes just for goats. Now beyond that, the other things that you're going to want to do on a daily basis, you're going to want to visually inspect your animal. You're going to want to make sure that the eyes, the ears, the nose, and the mouth are all clean, free of debris. You don't want to see any mucus, any abnormal swelling in any of those areas. You also want to check the back end to make sure that they are very, very clean back there. You don't want to see any signs of diarrhea or anything like that. That could be indicative of some kind of problem. You want to go ahead and get a really good feeling for the body condition of your goat. You want to make sure that they're staying in really good health. Now, you don't have to get a weight every single day, but just by getting them used to that, you can get a really good sense of what their body condition is, and that's also going to build their relationship with you. Obviously, as you can see right now, this little guy, as he is eating his brunch, he is going to be really calm, really used to me doing just about anything I need to with him. So that's a great way to build this relationship. So that's what you're going to do on a daily basis. Now on a monthly basis, there's a couple other things that you're going to want to do. The first thing I'm going to recommend is getting an actual weight on your animal. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that for goats. Especially for a little goat like this, you could train him to step onto a bathroom scale. You can get a livestock scale, but for goats, one of the easiest things to do is going to be a weight tape. Now the way a weight tape works is you're just going to put that around the animal, and the weight tape will usually tell you exactly where on the animal you need to put the tape, and wherever it lines up, that'll give you an idea of how much that animal weighs. So this guy right here, according to this weight tape, is 33 pounds. Considering I just carried him over here, I'd believe that. That sounds about right. Now the weight tape may not be perfectly accurate. It might be off by a few pounds. The important part about the weight tape is if you get this measurement every single month, you'll have consistent measurements with a consistent means of measuring. So if I weigh him every single month and he is 33 pounds according to the weight tape, even if he is a couple of pounds over or under that, I know that his weight is staying consistent. With animals, you want to look out for increases or decreases in their weight. So if I notice that he was increasing or decreasing, then I could take a closer look, get an actual weight on him. But a weight tape is really, really simple. And again, as he is sitting here eating pellets, you can see I can do this to him, and he has absolutely no fear at all. And again, this little guy is only 4 months old, so I haven't had that much time to train him. Now, another thing you're going to want to do on a once-a-month basis, you want to get a really good look at their hooves. Obviously, if you notice your animal limping or anything like that, that should fall into the daily assessment of your animal. If you see a limp, check to see what's going on that hoof. But at least once a month, you want to make sure you get a very good look at their hooves. And if you get them used to this while they are very little, as they get bigger, it's not going to be that big a deal for them. So all you want to do is sort of pick those hooves up, and you just want to check to make sure that they are free of dirt, free of debris. You don't want to see any rock caught inside their hoof. You may need to get a hoof pick to clean out their hoof. When they're little, their hooves grow really, really nicely, but as they get older, they can start to grow in weird ways, so you may want to clean those out, and you may want to trim their hooves. Now, they do make clippers for trimming hooves, but if it's going to be your first time trimming hooves on your goat, I'm going to recommend using a rasp. That's essentially a giant file. Now, what that's going to do, that's going to give you the ability to take off very small bits of the hoof as you work it along the hoof. You're going to have a much harder time trimming anything too far, and it's going to be a lot closer to how their hoof would naturally wear down. Because remember, these guys are used to running around, jumping around. They are going to have a natural wear pattern on their hooves. Using a rasp is going to help replicate that. If you use a pair of clippers, you can create weird notches and valleys that then end up harboring more dirt and debris than you want. Plus, you run the risk of trimming your goat's hooves too far. You want to avoid that. Now, the only other thing you're going to want to do on a monthly basis, you're going to want to go ahead and FAMACHA score your goat. Now, that is just a look at the... Oh, okay, is this scary now? You want to look at their eyelid color. So I can go ahead and just pull down right here, and he'll give me a look at his eyelid color. And as you can see, he's not thrilled about that, but it's not the most stressful thing in the world for him. Now, the reason you check the FAMACHA score, or the eyelid color of an animal like this, is to get an idea of their parasite load. Most internal parasites are going to feed on some component of their blood, which means that it will cause some kind of anemia if they do have a heavy parasite load. By checking their eyelid color, if their eyelids are getting very, very pale, that's going to be indicative that they may need to be treated for different parasites. And again, that's going to depend on your individual animal. Just like some people will get sick more than others, some goats are going to be more prone to parasites. I have some goats that can go 9 months to a year without needing treatment, and I have some goats that need treatment for parasites almost quarterly. So that's really going to depend, but by checking on that on a monthly basis, you'll know where your goats are standing. Make sure you keep a record of that, because then you'll have a better understanding of that animal as it goes on in the future too. Usually with particular animals, you'll see a certain swing at certain times of the year. Usually in the spring for us, it's getting warm, we're getting a lot of rain. That is an ideal time for parasites to thrive. So that's usually when we'll start to see a swing in the goats that are more susceptible to that. So that's what you want to do on a monthly basis. On an annual basis, I'm going to recommend getting a vet check for your goat, even if it's just a visual exam. Your vet's going to be able to assess things like the goat's teeth, which are going to be a lot harder for you to check on. They can do any heavy-duty trims of the hooves if those are necessary. If your goat's hooves start to get out of alignment, if they start to curl in one way or the other, a vet is going to be able to trim those and basically take you back to square one, so that you can then, on a monthly basis, use that rasp to trim those hooves and stay in a really nice place. You're going to want to do annual vaccinations. Now, for a goat, annual vaccinations, I'm going to recommend a CDT vaccine. That's Clostridium and tetanus vaccine. That's going to be especially important before, if you have a little goat like this that you want to have fixed, you want to make sure that they get that tetanus vaccine before anything surgical is done to them in that way. You're going to want to look at a rabies vaccine. Now, goats are not the most susceptible to rabies, but they can certainly pick it up. And one of the bigger issues with goats is they can be a little bit naughty. They can go up to people, they can chew on clothing, they can chew on people. So, by having a rabies vaccine on your goat, that helps to protect your goat in the off chance that they go up and bite somebody. Because the teeth of a goat are actually very, very strong, and especially their teeth in the back are very sharp. They are designed for chewing through small branches, so they could easily bite into your skin. They could easily draw blood. If that happens to someone that isn't familiar with that goat, they're going to want to know, are they protected from something like rabies? So just by having a rabies vaccine on your goat is going to be protected in a number of ways. Now, talk to your vet about that, because your vet is going to know for your area what is recommended. Different people in different areas have different recommendations for a rabies vaccine for a goat. We recommend vaccinating them with the rabies vaccine annually, but I do know some people have said that for their goats, their vet recommends only getting it every 3 years. So just open up that conversation with your veterinarian to know what you should be doing for your goat. I'm also going to recommend, when you're doing all of this vet work with your goat, go ahead and submit a fecal sample on your goat in order to be tested for parasites. Now, we are FAMACHA scoring our goats monthly. That means that's going to give us a good indication of most internal parasites. However, not all of them are going to cause that anemia, or they might have anemia that is caused by other causes. So if you do a parasitology fecal on your goat, you may realize that while its FAMACHA score is great, it doesn't have anemia, it has a very heavy parasite load, and you need to treat it even though it looks like you haven't needed to. On the flip side, you may end up with a goat that is having a very low FAMACHA score, or a very poor FAMACHA score. You're thinking that you need to treat this animal consistently. When you do a fecal sample, you realize that this animal has next to no parasite load. In that case, the issue might be anemia caused by improper supplementation of your salt, mineral, or anything like that. The diet might just be not providing everything this animal needs. So by providing a daily or an annual fecal sample to your goat, that's going to let you know that your animal is staying in the best health. Now, the only other thing I can tell you with these guys is you want to make sure you do your best that you're enjoying these animals, because that's part of why we have these animals around us, right? So this little guy right here, I have bottle raised from the time he was a baby. He was actually getting a bottle every 2 hours. So he is a great little goat. As you can see, he is very, very calm, very comfortable with me. And I want to make sure that I am doing everything in my power to make sure that he stays in optimum health. So if you do those things that I've talked about today in providing for the daily, monthly, and annual welfare of your goat, you're going to be doing your best to make sure that your animal stays in optimum health too. So if you found this information helpful, if you guys would go ahead and thumbs up this video, it definitely helps me to know what you guys like to see and what is beneficial to you guys. If you like seeing animal care videos like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because I am putting out more videos, 2 to 3 videos every single week. You can go ahead and comment down in this video if this was helpful, or if there is some other animal that you would like to know the husbandry of. I'd love to help you guys out with that. I do want to thank you guys, as always, for watching this video, and I certainly hope to see you guys next time. All right, thanks. Bye.